Good morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 186. Please subscribe. Beautiful lessons we are in, and they're very important lessons. As the introduction to these lessons told us, it said our lessons now are geared specifically to widening horizons and direct approaches to the special blocks that keep your vision narrow and too limited to let you see the value of our goal. Well, today's lesson is one of those lessons that we could certainly see as being a block, because it's a big lesson, and the title of it is Salvation of the World Depends on Me. And that can seem very daunting when we first hear it. It's like, whoa, I don't think I can do this. But as I say when I teach this lesson every year, and I say, no pressure. Salvation of the world depends on me. No pressure. And there really isn't, because we have been given this function by one who knows that we indeed have the capabilities to fulfill and complete this task. So there really isn't any pressure on us, and there really isn't any doubt that we can indeed complete this function, this task, this job for us. So the beginning of the lesson says, here is the statement that will one day take all arrogance away from every mind. Here is the thought of true humility, which holds no function as your own, but which has been given you. It offers your acceptance of the part assigned to you without insisting on another role. It does not judge your proper role. It but acknowledges the will of God is done on earth as well as heaven. It unites all wills on earth in heaven's plan to save the world, restoring it to heaven's peace. Now, going back just for the moment to lesson 19, which was I not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts, there's a line in the second paragraph that says, and salvation must be possible because it is the will of God. It is the will of God for this world, this earth world, to be saved, to be healed. Salvation of the world, the healing of the world depends on me. Salvation to me, I've always said this, it's like the root of it is like salve, which is a balm, an ointment that we place on a wound that needs to be healed. Salvation of the world depends on us because this world does indeed need to be healed. From the way that it is seen and experienced, it is not sustainable, and it is not anything that we want to stay in. This is a world of anger and fear and judgment. This is not a world that is meant for the Son of God, the child of God, to be a part of. And then the lesson goes on to say, let us not fight our function, okay? And not deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. We are worthy because the one who knows us well has given us this assignment. Now, part of this lesson could be seen as something that we've spoken of and used as a metaphor, an example in the past, which is the old cartoons that used to have a little devil on one shoulder and a little angel on the other. And that is, a lot of this lesson is telling us, the arrogance, the ego is telling us, no, you can't do this. You're not worthy of this. You don't have the capabilities. But then the angel says, of course you can do this because our Father gave you the abilities and assigned this function to you. He knows who you are. He knows that you possess everything that is required in order to heal this world. For the salvation of the world depends on you, but you are not doing it alone. Again, as in yesterday, we have mighty companions. We have helper beings, if you want to call them that. We have God's angels, we have the Holy Spirit, we have our elder brother, all helping us to fulfill this function of the salvation of the world. And going back into the lesson, it says, false humility we lay aside today. And if he deems us worthy, so we are. It is but arrogance that judges otherwise. It is but the ego. The ego is always arrogant. The ego is judging and arrogant and analyzes everything. But the Holy Spirit accepts and knows, and the Holy Spirit knows that indeed we are capable of the assignment given us. There is one way and only one way to be released from the imprisonment your plan to prove the false is true has brought to you. Accept the plan you did not make instead. The ego has a plan to keep us in prison, but accept the other plan, the one we didn't make, the one that did not come from separation, the one that has been given us by our Father. Arrogance makes an image of yourself that is not real. It is this image which quails and retreats in terror as the voice for God assures you you have the strength, the wisdom, and the holiness to go beyond all images. You are not weak, as is the image of yourself, that little devil image. You are not ignorant and helpless. Sin cannot tarnish the truth in you, and misery can come not near the holy home of God. We have the capabilities, but in this earth world, because part of this lesson is telling us that earth will be transformed. In the text, in chapter 11, it says that the end of the world is not its destruction, but its translation into peace. This is what we will do. We will translate the world that we see filled with doubt, filled with fear, and have it translated into the exact image of heaven, which it is meant to be. And so many times within the Course it tells us, as above, so below. And God, our Father, wants or wills earth in heaven's plan, unites all wills on earth in heaven's plan to save the world by restoring it to heaven's peace, restoring the earth to as it is meant to be, the mirror image of heaven. And so the lesson continues. It's a great lesson. Have I ever said that before? Nah, of course not. It's a great lesson. And it tells us that, in this world, how this world shifts and changes 1,000 times and 1,000 times more. 1,000 shifts in mood, and our emotions raise us high, indeed, to dash us to the ground in hopelessness. This is what the ego does in this world. And I've used the metaphor of the marionette, the puppet, and that's the ego is pulling our strings, and it'll raise us high, 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 and then bam, down to the ground. Into a million pieces we go, completely feeling destroyed. That is what that little devil on the shoulder is trying to get us to believe is real, but it is not. It says, is this the Son of God? That could he create an instability and call it son? He who is changeless shares his attributes with his creation. We are God's creation. All the images his Son appears to make have no effect on what he is. We are sinless, guiltless, perfect children of our Father. So these unsubstantial images will go and leave your mind unclouded and serene when you accept the function given you to be for the salvation of the world. It depends on us. The functions which the world esteem are so uncertain that they change 10 times an hour, and in their most secure, at their best, they change 10 times an hour. And what hope of gain can rest on goals like this? This world, this ego world, is filled with mood swings, one way to the other, like a huge pendulum going back and forth. This is not what our Father chooses us to be and experience. He wants us, he desires for us to know the truth of who we are, his most beloved child. Paragraph 12 says, do as God's voice directs, and if it asks a thing of which seems impossible, remember who it is that asks and who would make denial. The denial would come from the ego saying, no, you're not worthy, you cannot do that. Then consider this, which is more likely to be right? The voice that speaks for the creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are, or a distorted image of yourself, confused, bewildered, inconsistent, and unsure of everything. Let not its voice direct you. Hear instead a certain voice which tells you of a function given you by your Creator, who remembers you and urges that you now remember Him. I said this is a course in remembering indeed who we are. And with that, we can indeed, going back to the first 50, thought I was done with that, lesson 49. Again, that God's voice speaks to me all through the day. And here is just another example of how our Father is constantly communicating with us, for us to listen, for us to know how dear we are, For love must give, and what is given in His name takes on the form most useful in a world of form. And those would be those miracles that we see to help us and guide us, because we are in a world of form, we believe we must see it in order for it to be real. We will eventually realize that the form is of the ego. We don't need form. We have thought, and thought is what truly guides us and teaches us and brings us home. Salvation of the world depends on you who can forgive. Such is your function here. The salvation of the world depends on me, depends on you, and we are totally and completely capable of doing that. So that's it for today. I hope it helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please listen to the right voice today and know how capable you truly are for your healing, your ability to help in the healing of this world and translate it into peace. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, pray. Be here tomorrow. Namaste.